Hello and welcome to Time. Let's discuss the current affairs of Feb 2026. I would request you to keep your copy and pen along with you so that you can write the important things I'm going to tell you during the class. So let us start with the class with the very first question. But before that, for you, there is an info which would come in the next page. This is the YouTube channel of Time for Bank and SSC. So if you are watching this video as a non-time student, you can always subscribe us and you would be getting more updates like this in the future. So let me start with the class. So the first question is related to the budget 2026. It says the finance minister in her budget for financial year 27 announced the setting up of high level committee on dash for Viksit Bharat 2047. This time the budget was presented on 1st of Feb and it was Sunday. So the budget was presented on Sunday. And this PPT would cover a lot many questions related to the budget. And those questions are important since this year, all of the exams which are about to come would ask you something or other about the budget. So listen to it very carefully. So it says that which sector was discussed. So answer of this question is banking. So banking is the answer. Article 112. Listen to it carefully. If you want, you can write it down. Article 112 of the Indian Constitution talks about the AFS and the full form is Annual Financial Statement. This annual financial statement, aka budget. That means there is no word as budget mentioned in the Constitution. Rather, the Constitution calls it annual financial statement and not the budget. But the question is, from where does this word come? So, when the finance minister earlier used to come to present the budget, he or she had to carry a bag, and in French that bag is known as or pronounced as bouquet. So from there this term budget. So budget is not a term which is mentioned in the constitution, rather it is known as annual financial statement. And Article 112 talks about the annual financial statement. I'll be telling you few more interesting things related to budget during this PPT. uh, be with me. Question number two. So, India is in talk with Dash related and international Alipay plus digital payments platform to be linked to India's leading instant payment system, unified payment interface for cross-border transactions. So the answer of question number two is whether it's USA, China, Japan, Australia, or Canada. And you must have heard this websites or apps name known as Alibaba. Now, Alibaba also has a payment gateway which is known as Alipay. And the answer is China. So two is right. So there is a term which is these days quite popular, which is known as internationalization of UPI. So it's not only China with which we are having this deal. We already have had many deals with the different countries, like we have this deal with Singapore. Sorry. Pay now. So I'm sorry, people, those who are sending the cross-border payment to India from Singapore will be able to use UPI via Pay Now. We had this deal with France also. And recently, Prime Minister visited Israel. There also, there were discussions related to the connection of UPI with Israel. So we are trying to internationalize UPI. There are many countries which have started using UPI. This is one of the most successful real-time payment regime India has invented. And I'm sure those who are regular followers to this channel and have earlier attended my classes must be knowing that which body is responsible for UPI, facilitating UPI. I would be waiting in the chat box. Do let me know which body is responsible for UPI in India. Come on, answer in the chat box. Or I should say that which company or authority or body made the UPI. I'm looking at the chat box in the YouTube. Yes, very good. Very good, Sundar. It's NPCI, National Payments Corporation of India. All those bank aspirants looking at this video, this class, should write it down. NPCI is not a government organization, first thing first, is a Section 8 company. That means it's a not-for-profit organization, right? And it was made by 10 private and government banks. But today there are many other NBFCs also which are having the ownership of NPCI. And this is responsible for UPI. What technology it works on? So that is IMPS. It's a real-time payment technology. That is immediate mobile payment services, right? I am sure that you people are fully aware about the concepts related to that. If not, attend the classes which are already there in the same YouTube channel on banking. Nonetheless, let's move further. So, State Bank of India has launched a Center of Excellence initiative named Chakra, aimed at strengthening financing for the sunrise sector. Now, first thing first, before I give you the answer, let us discuss what is sunrise sector. So, sunrise sector is a sector which is having the high growth potential. So, and they also have the future economic competitiveness, and therefore these sectors are known as sunrise sector. So, if you talk about green hydrogen, is it sunrise sector? Yes, it is. Semiconductor, yes, it is. Renewable energy, yes, it is. So, all these three are the sunrise sectors, and the answer is all of the above. For an example, if you talk about green hydrogen, there is a mission by the Indian government known as Green Hydrogen Mission. There are two different type of hydrogens. You have green hydrogen, which is quite plant based, and then you have brown hydrogen. So the green hydrogen has less impact to the environment or almost zero impact for the global warming, right? So India has a target known as net zero. So to achieve this target, government has started this plan or mission known as Green Hydrogen Mission. I will not be able to explain this in details because we have other questions to solve. But I would, if you are not aware about this, I would strongly recommend to research about that. Plus, for the semiconductors also, we have plan which was discussed in this budget also, which is ISM 2.0. ISM 2.0. So read about this also, which is an initiative in the ambit of the Atmanirbhar Bharat and Make in India, Make for the World program. So if you talk about the financial year 2026-27, the allocation to this ISM 2.0 is 1000 crores. This is a static data you have to remember. And obviously, for the renewable energy, India has a ambitious target for 500 gigawatts. Now, this data is important. I always say every data is not important, but few things can be asked in the exams. That what is the target of government for the renewable energy? So it's 500 gigawatt of non-fossil fuel capacity till 2030. So we now have many things to research about. One is net zero, other is this renewable energy target, then ISM 2.0. Right. So SBI Chakra is the initiative which would finance all these targets. Let's move towards the next question. Question number 3 says, as of Feb 2026, what is the FDI ceiling in state-owned banks? So, banks are of two types. You have the private banks and you have the PSBs, which are the public sector banks. Okay, so the answer of when it comes to the state-owned banks, or in other words, you call them PSBs, the answer is 20% yes. Can someone tell me how much FDI is allowed in the private sector banks in India? Those who are not aware about FDI, let me give a small explanation here. Foreign direct investment. Let's suppose if a foreign company is investing in an Indian company up to, sorry, above 10% in equity. This is known as FDI. But if it is less than 10%, it becomes FPI. You can also write down the full form is foreign portfolio investment. You can also call it QFI, qualified foreign investors, or you can call it FII, which is foreign institutional investors. So if the investment is less than 10%, it is known as FPI from foreign company in an Indian company. That means the FPI does not have the management control. But if it is more than 10%, the foreign company also has the management control. It is known as FDI. So in the government banks, 20% FDI is allowed. There are other caveats also. Let's not discuss that. Now, people, those who are, yes, very good. Why only one person is answering? So, yes, 74% FDI is allowed in private sector banks. FDI, though, is a sensitive topic. Like recently, government has made 100% FDI allowed in insurance sector. Earlier it was 74, but now it's 100%. Right. So you should also know that what sectors there is a ban on FDI. So again, can someone tell me what sectors there is a ban on FDI? I'm sure that you are now clear. For an example, in Flipkart, which is an e-commerce company, there is a company known as Walmart, which bought around 77% stake. So that is the Walmart's FDI because it's more than 10%. Now the question is, what sectors the FDI is banned? I mean, the foreign company cannot do the FDI. Can someone tell me in the chat box which sectors the FDI is prohibited or not allowed? So, which sectors do not, India does not allow FDI? So, gambling, tobacco, lottery, these sectors, FDI is not allowed. Almost almost every sector apart from these three, four, FDI is allowed, and FDI in India can come via two ways. Now, this is important. One, FDI can come via the automatic route. That means they just have to inform RBI or government that we are coming and that's it. But another way is via prior approval. Here they have to take the approval from the government. So there are certain sensitive sectors, whereas the companies, the foreign companies have to take the approval from the government. Otherwise, they are not allowed. So maybe they have to take the approval from some ministry or commerce ministry, and they can, because if there is a sensitive sector, if the government feels that a foreign company would come and would leak the information or the sovereign information of the government, such sector needs a prior approval. However, most of the FDI coming to India is via automatic approval. Most of the sectors government allows the automatic approval, but there are some sensitive sectors like nuclear energy or some few more, whereas government feels that they should scrutinize before the FDI comes. Earlier it was FIPB, Foreign Investment Promotional Board, which used to give the approval. But then the things are now easy. Government wants that the foreign companies should come and invest because FDI is a more stable investment rather than FII. Because FII people usually the companies invest in the share market. So the moment the market is down, as we see today, it was around 2000 points down BSC Sensex. So that time, what do these people do? They immediately take their money out and then go. So FPI money is also known as the hot money. Hot money is what? Hot money is what they do the moment they feel that they are earning huge profit or they are getting into a lot of losses, they immediately sell their shares and they go back. And therefore, this FII is known as unstable money, which comes only for the purpose to earn the profit. But FDI is stable because they are gaining the management control. They are helping the Indian companies to grow. They come up with the technology expertise. Like Walmart came up with a lot of retail expertise and it gave it to Flipkart. Although Flipkart is not doing so good, but still. Nonetheless, let's move towards the next question. Question number 5. I think I gave the answer of this. Yes. Which body has formed a 9 members expert committee named Strategic Asset Allocation and Risk Governance SARG, chaired by Narayan Ramchandran, to modernize the NPS. Now, earlier there used to be the old pension scheme, whereas let's suppose my last drawn salary is 1 lakh rupees per month, and I'm retired. So the old pension scheme, not technically so very correct, just to explain. So OPS was like What was my last drawn salary? 1 lakh. I'm a government employee, assuming. And I'd be getting 50% of 1 lakh, that is 50,000 as pension every month. Simple calculation. Though there are certain caveats are there, but for you to understand. But then I'm not doing anything. I'm sitting at home. I'm not contributing to the economy, but getting 50,000 rupees every month as a pension. Now, the pension, if you see the budget, pension is the revenue expenditure of the government. So, revenue expenditure is a short term expenditure and non productive. And government thought that why we are paying this much of pension? Because there is revenue expenditure which is increasing, and ultimately it is increasing the revenue deficit, and therefore government decided that it won't go for OPS anymore. It came up with the new pension scheme, which was then renamed as National Pension System. Logic is very simple. While you are working with the company, with the government, you are contributing some percentage of your salary in the kitty of NPS. That money would be invested in the share market, and while you will be retired, you will be getting some part of that profit or some that money which grow as a pension. That means government is not going to pay anything from its pocket. And then there are certain changes made in the recent past, but this is the concept. And when it comes to pension, obviously, which body would be responsible for that? Since RBI is responsible for regulating the banks, so it cannot be the answer. Securities and Exchange Board of India, it regulates the financial sector of India, including the share markets, the investors, the depositories, and so forth. This is not the answer. PF, Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India, regulates all the insurance companies. TRAI regulates the telecom companies. You should also know the chiefs of these regulatory bodies and their headquarters and last three bosses. For an example, RBI, it was Urjit Patel, then Shaktikanta Das, then now Mr. Malhotra. So the answer is Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority of India, PFRDA. So this Strategic Asset Allocation and Risk Governance Committee, uh, chaired by Mr. Narayan Ramchandran, was constituted by PFRDA, Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority of India. So NPS net is a market linked pension scheme, remember. So government is not going to do any charity with this. It is rather going for the market link pension. I hope this is clear to all of us. Okay, so let's move towards the next question. With reference to FDI in Indian banks, identify the correct statement. The center allows 74% FDI in private banks. So Sandarbhadana just gave the answer of this. So this is correct. It limits shareholding of any single foreign institution in private banks up to 15%. That is also true. The center plans to raise the FDI limit in state-run banks to 49%. This is the news. This is the news. So yes, all three are correct. So 5 is the right answer. So question number 6, all three are correct. There are two things. One is privatization. That means selling the complete shares of private company, sorry, so of government company to the private player. For an example, this loss-making airline was privatized. Who bought that? In the chat box, please. Excuse me. Who bought Air India? Yes, very good. Tata bought that. So, uh, yes, Tata bought that. So, this was privatization. There is another term known as disinvestment. Now, when I say disinvestment, listen to it very carefully. The governments own minimum 51% of the company, the PSB or the PSU, and the remaining 49% or less is sold into the market. Right. So here, if the government says the state-run bank FDI limit is 49%, that means it would be still a state-owned bank. Ownership rights lies with the state. I mean the government. Right. There is one more concept given by Niti Aayog, which is National Institution for Transforming India, the the think tank of the government. Niti Aayog said that if you use this word privatization, the government employees will be furious because they don't want that the government companies to be privatized, and opposition would also say something. So Niti Aayog suggested do not use this word privatization anymore. Rather call it strategic disinvestment. Strategic disinvestment. That means you would gradually disinvest above 51% and let it become a private company. So if you read strategic disinvestment anywhere, do not get confused with disinvestment. Strategic disinvestment is another name of privatization. Earlier you used to call it bathroom, but today you call it washroom. So bathroom was privatization, washroom is disinvestment, strategic disinvestment. I mean, one and the same thing, right? Remember this carefully. Anyways, let's. No, no, it was not Kingfisher. It was Tata Group. Uh, okay, let's move towards the next question. With reference to the 16th Finance Commission recommendations, identify the correct statement. The Commission advised keeping the vertical tax devolution to state at 41% of the divisible pool of the unit. Vertical means how much total money would be given to state. The center has provided 1.4 lakh crore to the state for the financial year 27 as Finance Commission grants. The 16th Finance Commission recommendations are for the 5-year award period starting 1st April 26 to 31st March 2031. Now, let me start my KBC to all the audience. So, first thing first is which article of the Constitution talks about the Finance Commission? Which article of the Constitution talks about the Finance Commission? Your time starts now. Yes, very good. Sandarbhadana. Here is, let me see on Zoom if anybody is answering. No one is answering. Okay, so now write it. Article 280 of the Indian Constitution talks about the Finance Commission. So there is a term which is known as fiscal federalism. Fiscal federalism. That means there is a federal structure of Indian Constitution. So if you remember or if you've heard about the seventh schedule, it gives the three lists in the Constitution. The first list is state, second is center, and third is concurrent. So there are certain matters where is only state can make the laws. There are certain matters where is only center can make the laws, and there are some matters whereas both can make the laws. Fiscal federalism says that although this seventh schedule give many responsibilities to states, but the states taxation power is comparatively lower than the center and therefore the finance commission. Let's suppose I'm teaching you here in my state and I get the salary. I pay the taxes. Now, if I'm paying the income tax, who would take the income tax? The center government. Most of the direct taxes like income tax, corporation tax, capital gains tax are collected by the center government. That means state's share is less. So to compensate the state, every 5 years, the president makes the finance commission. And right now we are into the 16th finance commission whose report has recently come. Can someone tell me who is the chief of 16th finance commission? It has one chairman and four members, FYI, and it's a quasi-judicial body. Can someone tell me who is the chairman of 16th Finance Commission? I'm waiting in the chat box. Okay, so nobody is answering. The chairman of 16th Finance Commission, write down the name, is Mr. Arvind Pangaria. Mr. Arvind Pangaria. 15th Finance Commission, it was Mr. N.K. Singh. These are few facts which are very important for every exam. So write them down. Yes, good. But you answered late, so it's Arvind Pangaria. Arvind Pangaria. Yes, earlier he was the vice chairman of Niti Aayog. Fair enough. So the answer of question number 7 is fourth. All three are correct. Let's move towards the next question. Now, this is actually this year's criteria of the Finance Commission of distributing the taxes amongst the state. So there is something important to share with you. Let me first change the color of my pen. So while they distribute the taxes amongst the state, there are certain guidelines which are changed. So the first guideline is in income distance. That means the GSDP, gross state domestic product. So if the state's GSDP is less, that means its per capita income is also less. So earlier, the 15th Finance Commission gave it a weightage of 55%. This time the weightage is less. Population. So if your population is more, you would be getting more money. If less, you would be getting less money. This time population has been given more weightage. That means the populous states like UP would be getting more money. Demographic performance. Earlier, it was given more weightage. Demographic performance means how much birth rate you are able to control and so forth. This time it's less. Area, if you have more area, you'd be getting more money. If you have less area, you'd be getting less money. If you are having more forest, you'll be getting more money. Less forest, less money. This time, this thing is being removed. Tax and fiscal efforts. That means if you are collecting more tax, you'd be getting more money. It's not like that this year. However, what is your contribution to GDP would be calculated here. So this is important. So states like Kerala, Tamil Nadu, they used to say that our population is less and therefore we are getting less distribution from state, from center. But our contribution is GDP is more, we export more and so forth. So this time to address this problem of the states, those who are contributing more to GDP, they are given more money. So you have to remember this. This is important. Anyways, let's move further. Uh, which company is aiming to launch its IPO in April 26, comprising an offer for the sale of 5.6 crore shares by existing investors? Question number 8. And the answer is PhonePe. IPO. When it comes to the equity market, there are two kind of equities. You have the primary market and you have the secondary market. Primary market, the new securities are sold and the new securities are known as the IPOs. That means if the company is coming for the first time, we call it IPO, to sell its shares. New company selling its shares for the first time, known as IPO. Let's suppose Paytm came up with the IPO. I bought the shares. Now I cannot go back to Paytm and ask them, please take your shares back. They are not giving me any profit. Then I would get into the secondary market. And here I would be selling the shares to the brokers. So you can also say while you are buying a new car, you are buying from the primary market. The second-hand car is sold in the secondary market. Just like that, the new shares are sold in the primary market as initial public offerings. And if they are resold in secondary market. Remember this important term related to finance. Let's suppose Paytm wants to take more money from the market. It came back and sold few more shares. But now Paytm is not the newly incorporated company. It cannot come up with IPO. If it is again coming into the market to sell few more fresh shares, that would be known as FPO, which is the follow-on public offerings. Follow-on public offerings. I hope this was clear to us. PhonePe, this is the brand owned by Flipkart. Let's move further. In Feb 26, with which country's central bank has RBI engaged in high-level talks to allow the unrestricted bulk transfer of Indian currency between the banking system of both the nations? And let me give you a guess. If you might not know this news, but this country has got a new leader today, and he's one of the youngest leaders, 35 years of age. He became the leader of the country. This country was suffering from, not exactly suffering, but then it was the Gen Z revolution there. And this guy is a rapper. If you can tell me the name of the person and tell me the name of the country. And please do not write unnecessary things in the chat box. Only the answers. No, it's not Maldives. There was no Gen Z revolution in Maldives, I guess. Yes. Very good, Venkatesh. It's Nepal. Very good. I cannot pronounce this name. Monapoi. Yes, it's Nepal. Can somebody tell me the name of the person? Yes, very good. It's Balin Shah. Very good. Perfect. And the answer of this question is also Nepal Rashtra Bank. Nepal Rashtra Bank. So with Nepal, we have the Treaty of Sogoli, 1816. I won't explain this much, but it's very interesting to know about the Treaty of Sugali, Sugali. So that is actually, there were certain disputes with Nepal on boundaries, and when British were there, we had this Treaty of Sugali. But after the British, there are certain areas which are disputed with Nepal. For an example, there is a Kali River which is disputed, and there are two reasons known as Kala Pani and Susta. Nepal says this is our region, but India says it's our. So there is some confusion. A few months ago, Nepal circulated 100 Nepali rupees note, which had this Kalapani region printed on this, whereas India was not comfortable with that. So there were certain disputes with Nepal. However, there are certain good diplomatic ties with Nepal. Let's see how the new leader and the new guard is going to take relationship with India. So we'll see to it. Anyways, let's move towards the next question. RBI recently proposed compensation up to 25,000 for small value digital frauds. In this context, identify the correct statements. A customer will be able to avail this benefit once in lifetime for the loss of money due to such frauds. You say in Hindi गलती एक ही बार होती है. So once in a lifetime, you get the refund, whatever money is gone. Customers can avail of the compensation even where they have shared a one-time password. So you were generous enough that you gave the OTP also. Enjoy. The framework will involve risk sharing with customers and banks, each bearing 15% and the RBI covering the balance. Now you have to tell what is the right answer of question number 10. So, to my surprise, all of the above are correct. 1, 2, and 3. I mean, if I have given the OTP, that was my mistake. So, why would I be getting the refund? But still, jokes apart, there are elderly people who are not aware. There are lot many cyber frauds, mobile frauds, banking fraud these days. Sometimes I heard that you get the link on the WhatsApp and you click it and your bank account, UPI account is compromised and many things. So this was, although the step taken by RBI. There is a portal of RBI also known as Sachet, which plays a very important role preventing and giving the solutions of the cyber fraud. So read about Sachet in details. It's good. Anyways, let's move towards the next question. The RBI approved private equity firm Blackstone's acquisition of Dash stake in Federal Bank for approximately 6,196 crores. To the answer of this question, it's very strategic because if it is above 10%, it would become a management control of a foreign organization in Federal Bank, which RBI does not want. So the answer is 9.99% and not 10%. Second is the right answer. Question number 12. The central government invited financial bids for the privatization of Dash in Feb 2026. So, privatization of IDBI Bank. Government is trying to privatize this bank from long. Earlier also government came up with the shares of IDBI. Nobody bought it. Finally, LIC, which is again a state-owned company, had to buy it. Government is again trying to privatize it. So IDBI, they are trying to get rid of it, but they are not able to, although. So it is already categorized at private bank. Remember this. Although most of the shares are owned by LIC. Question number 13. The global central bank and financial regulators have been actively increasing their gold reserves, which offers. So, see, gold, if you see every day it is breaking the records. Sometimes it's 1,15,000, sometimes 1,20,000 and 5,000. Not only gold, but silver also. So the correct answer is yes, gold provides the monetary stability. Usually, it does not give you the negative returns. And of course, the diversification, because these days the share market, you know how it is going on. So it is not giving lot of returns. If you see last year trends, it was around 8% profit, which was given by share market. So diversification, I mean, the investors want their money to be diversified, so they are buying gold. Inflation hedge. Now, this is something you need to understand. Let me teach you a bit of maths. I know only small amount of maths. Let me give you a small calculation. Okay. Let's suppose you made an FD of 5 lakhs. Listen to it very carefully. 5 lakhs FD for 5 years at say 5% interest. Right. Now, 5 years, 5 lakh FD at 5% interest. This 5% interest, which is given to you on time deposit, which is FD, is known as the nominal interest. That means your money is increasing at the rate of 5% every year. I hope you are clear with this. There is something known as inflation. Now, if you ask me to give you the definition of inflation, I would say inflation is a consistent rise in the prices and fall in the value of money, right? Let's say the inflation is increasing. CPI, Consumer Price Index inflation. If you don't know CPI, watch the earlier videos. Consumer's Price Index is an index which shows that how much inflation is increasing. Let's say in 5 years, the inflation increased at 7%. That means, I repeat, inflation is a consistent rise in the prices and fall in the value of money. Your money increased at 5% every year. Money decreased at 7% every year. Now there is a formula known as real interest, which says nominal interest minus inflation. So real interest is nominal interest minus inflation. What was your nominal interest? 5%. What is the inflation? 7%. Real interest is -2. That means your money, instead of increasing, has decreased because inflation is the consistent rise in the prices and fall in the value of money. Your money has decreased. That means you are into nuksan, loss. And therefore, being an intelligent investor, you will not put your money with the bank as FD. What you would do, rather you would buy the gold. Why? Because gold would give you the positive interest rate. So this situation, whereas people don't trust the currency and the banking system of the country and invest in the gold because of inflation, we call it gold rush. And because it's gold rush, people are buying gold. So inflation hedge, and you know how the things are going on. Iran is busy fighting with Israel and US, and many things are going on. So there is no geopolitical safety. Therefore, markets can be, you know, volatile. So this is the situation. I hope I was able to make it clear. Uh, let's move towards. So the answer is all of the above, right? This is the correct answer. Let's move towards the next question. Anything on the chat box? Let me see. No chat box. Okay, perfect. Question number 14th. Identify the correct statement with reference to tax holidays. Tax holiday means you will not be giving any tax. Government says 5 years, no tax, enjoy tax holiday. Offered by center to foreign companies for setting up operations in India. Yes. What is the reason why these companies getting tax holidays? Because if you allow the foreign companies to come without the tax, they would come here, they would export the things, they would bring the valuable foreign currency, your foreign reserves would expand. Like Feb last week, the foreign reserves of Forex of India. Again, not this, a different question. How much foreign currency reserve India has as of today, roughly? Anyone? How much forex reserve India is possessing today? Forex reserve is with RBI. How much? Anyone? It includes the foreign currency assets, includes gold, includes SDRs. I'm sorry. SDRs includes RTPs. How much? It's more than this. It's $728 billion. In fact, more or less 10%. This you should remember as a banking aspirant. So, yes, the government wants to increase the foreign currency reserve, and therefore these companies are given the tax holidays. So companies setting up in the gift city. Gift city is what? It's IFSC. IFSC. What's the full form? The full form is International Financial Service Center. So there are, see, when it comes to IFSC, the nation's local laws are not applied on these IFSCs. Dubai has an IFSC. India has this gift city. There is a planning to open IFSC in Mumbai also. 100% FDI is allowed in every sector. 100% capital account convertibility is allowed. Whenever you please, whatever country you want to invest and take your money back, you can do it. You get the tax holidays. And it has double taxation avoidance agreement with most of the countries, this IFSC. So these are actually set up under the SAZE Act, the Special Economic Zone Act. So government wants to promote the exports. It wants to attract the foreign companies here. So, the Indian tax laws are not applied here. In fact, for example, RBI has a monetary policy whereas the banks are required to keep the CRR or SLR. So the banks which are opening their branches in the gift city and IFSC are exempted from I mean, they must be having some different laws, but most of the things are easier for them in IFSCs. Nonetheless, so the answer is fifth, all correct. But I would ask you and I would request you to read about IFSC at the Gift City a bit more. Let's move further. Which country's central bank approved the country's first USD backed stablecoin? Stablecoins is what? It's a kind of a cryptocurrency, but it is backed by the sovereign asset. So if it is USD backed or the gold backed, it is known as stable coin. And the answer of question number 15 is Central Bank of UAE. So it's a kind of a dollar backed CBDC, central bank digital currency. It is pegged to US dollar. I hope this is clear to us. Let's move towards the next question. With reference to RBI's report on sectoral deployment of bank credit as of October 2025, identify the correct statement. So the overall bank credit expanded to 14.5% year on year to 203.23 lakh crores. Housing loans under priority sector. Now this is important for you to know. The priority sector lending rose 37% year on year. Bank loans against gold jewelry grew 128% year on year. This is common sense because gold is increasing. So this is actually, it talks about the growth of the credit in India. And the answer is fifth, 1, 2, and 3 of the above. Now, what you need to understand here is the priority sector lending. So, 1968, remember this year, first time RBI has used this term priority sector lending, 1968. So, it said banks must give 40% of their loans, total loans, to three sectors: agriculture, small industry, and exports. However, with the time, there were many changes made. In 2019, RBI made a UK Sinha committee. I won't explain this much, but this is a UK, I'm sorry, just a sec. There is a problem with my tablet. UK Sinha Committee on PSL norms. Please read it. So banks has to give 40, like bank, if it is giving 100 rupees as loan, 40 rupees should be given to education loan or agri loans, loans to small farmers, marginal farmers, women entrepreneurs, home loans. This is counted as the priority sector lending. And if banks are not able to achieve this target, this money has to be given to the NABARD. That means, let's suppose bank has to give 40 crores target decided by RBI in priority sector lending. But if it is not able to give, then it is to give it to NABARD, and NABARD will make a fund out of it. That is Rural Infrastructure Development Fund. So this money then would be stuck for 50 years, because this money is now then given to the state as a loan for infrastructure. So that is the story. Question number 17th. The deployment of agentic AI in banking involves. So if there is a agentic AI involved, it can do all the banking jobs. So executing tasks, making decisions, completing workflows, so on and so forth. The answer is 5. Right answer is 70. Identify the correctly matched pair. I'm sorry. Current status, cash, inventory, accounts receivable, fixed assets, capital assets, property, plant and equipment, intangible assets, which cannot be seen. I'm sure commerce walas, those who are listening to this class, must be having a deja vu. So patents, copyrights, trademarks are intangible assets, because these cannot be touched. Investment assets can be T-bills, government bonds, and other securities. And to my mind, question number 18, the answer should be all ABC. So short-term investment and long-term investment. So if I have a company and I'm looking for a short-term investment, I would take the investment from the money market. So less than 1 year is money market. And if it's more than 1 year, that is capital market. Right? And I'm sure that most of you are aware about the difference between money and capital market. Such kind of questions are very frequently asked in exams like RBI, because there is a separate question and separate section of finance. Nonetheless, let's move towards the next question. Question number 19. EASE, Enhanced Access and Service Excellence 8.0 reforms are intended to modernize. And the answer is the PSBs, the public sector banks. So it was crafted by government and the IBA, Indian Banks Association. So IBA plus the government are planning to modernize the public sector banks. Let's see how well they can be successful in this. Let's move towards the question number 20. With which company has the NPCI announced its collaboration to scale and advance its sovereign AI model capabilities purpose built for India's payments ecosystem? And question number 20, the answer is NVIDIA. So it has become the first company to hit the market cap of $4 trillion. You know what is India's GDP? So this company is having the market capitalization worth India's GDP, even more than that. So yes, it actually suppressed Apple and Microsoft. So NPCI, I have already discussed a lot. This is the body which is responsible for UPI, Aadhaar, AEPS, which is Aadhaar enabled payment service. The national financial switch, whereas all the ATMs are connected with each other. The national automated clearinghouse. These are all the things. RuPay card, facilitated by NPCI, National Payments Corporation of India. BHIM app. Can someone tell me the full form of BHIM in the chat box or here in the Zoom meeting? The full form of BHIM. Very good. It's Bharat Interface for Money. This is a UPI app built by NPCI for NPCI. Okay, very good. Let's move towards the question number 21. So as I said, there are many questions today of budget. So the Union Budget 26-27 or the Yuva Shakti driven budget, which emphasizes on government sankalp, will focus on. So it talks about the core focus area of budget, which is also termed as a Yuva Shakti driven budget. And the answer is all three. Nothing much to discuss here. There are few things I will talk about budget, but in later discussions. Who won the maiden 2026 Australian Open men's title, defeating this guy, the Rod Level Arena? And the answer is Alcaraz, I'm sorry. Sports related question. What is the amount allocated in the union budget for the new Viksit Bharat Ji Ram Ji scheme? I have made a YouTube short on this. You must have seen in your page of YouTube of Time. But if you have not seen, please read about this. This is very important because it was a big controversial name change. Ji Ram Ji. Uh, Question number 23. And the answer of question number 23 is second. So it provides a legal guarantee of wage for 125 days. Remember, this is very important because MGNREGA, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, used to provide 100 days. It is providing 125 days. And this is a centrally sponsored scheme. That means now it would be a 60-40. That means the center government would pay 60%, the remaining 40% of wages has to be paid by the states. And there is one more thing. There is going to be the pause of 60 days. That means when it comes to the peak agriculture season, these MG Narega workers, or sorry, VB Ramji workers would not be getting the employment guaranteed. Reason. The reason is the Punjab and Haryana farmers. Now you'd be asking why Punjab and Haryana farmers, because of which the government is not giving the employment. I'll tell you the reasons. See, Punjab and Haryana farmers are rich farmers. And for small farm works, they need the migrant workers from UP and Bihar. If the migrant worker would get the work in his or her own city or state, they would not be migrating to Punjab. And then there would be costly labor to the farmer of Punjab. And to address this issue, government said at the peak agriculture sector, don't stay here, Punjab jao, wahan jaake kaam karo, but we will not be giving you the 60 days ka paisa. There would be different things as well. There would be one, uh, the color of job card would be different for disabled. It would be different for women. Um, and there are many more things. So read about VB Jiramji in detail. Important change in the employment guarantee scheme, which is flexion. Uh, Name the Indian shuttler who won her maiden BWF Super 300 round at the Thailand Masters. Question number 24. And the correct answer is Devika Sihag. With reference to the Biopharma Initiative Shakti announced in the budget 26-27, identify the correct statement given for you. This is the full form of Shakti. This is the allocation and what is the target. So question number 25, the correct answer is all are correct. See, there is a website which is known as indiabudget.gov.in. If you are by any chance applying for RBI in near future, you have to be very clear with the budget and the related terms. Go to this website, download the PDF of budget, try to read it as much as you can. There would be one more document you will find here that would be known as economic survey. So try to download both the documents and try to understand. And if you are a regular time student, you can also clear the doubts with your faculty member if you are not able to understand things related to budget. Anyways, question number 26. Padma Bhushan awardee Andre Betele passed away recently. He was a noted. Question number 26. Sociologist. Question number 27. The new Strategic Arm Reduction Treaty, the new STAR, expired on 5th Feb. Which two countries are part of this treaty? So, the two countries which are always into tussle are US and Russia. So, this Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty, the original STAR 1 was signed between the US and then USSR. Then it was collapsed. You know it. Earlier it was known as USSR. It was collapsed. So the original treaty was signed in 1991. Remember this. STAR 1. I don't know what's happening to my tab today, but there is some problem. STAR 1 was signed in 1991 and it came into the force in 1994. And then there were different negotiations on this because these two countries have hold around 87% of nuclear warfares of the world. 87%. And the situation which is right now going on, it's quite scary. So both the countries have more than 5,000 warheads. Can you imagine? Anyways, let's move towards the next question. India has recently added two new Ramsar wetlands. Now, why Ramsar wetlands are known as a Ramsar wetland? So, in India, there are a total 98 Ramsar sites, important for your exams. And this was this Ramsar Convention, which was signed in a place called as Ramsar in Iran. Yes, Iran. It was signed in 1971 to protect the wetlands, and therefore it is known as the sites which are related to wetland are known as Ramsar sites. So, question number 28, the answer is UP and Gujarat. Remember this, UP and Gujarat. Question number 29. Which tennis player has won her maiden 2026 Australian Open Women's Single Final? Question number 29. The answer is Elena Rybakina. Question number 30th. According to the union budget, which government undertaking NBFC, non-banking finance company, which cannot accept the demand deposits, can only accept the time deposits, will undergo restructuring to achieve scale and improve efficiency? And the answer of question number 30 is Power Finance Corporation and Rural Electrification Corporation. So the answer is 4. Not NHB. NHB is not NBFC. NHB is a IFI, All India Financial Institute. It does not give loan directly to the Janta. It gives loans to the banks, those who do the housing finance. So NHB is wrong. Question number 31. In which of the following states will dedicated rare earth corridors be established to promote mining, processing, research, and manufacturing? Rare earth minerals are in news these days a lot, and because in the EV batteries, in the microprocessors, chips, you need the rare earth things. So the answer is all of the above. So these are critical for high technological things manufacturing, from a smartphone to defense to EV batteries, whatnot. To the establishment of a dedicated rare earth corridor. And if you're from the engineering background, and or you must have gone through chemistry, you can be asked in the interview about the names of some rare earth metals. So you need to know the names also, cerium and other things. So, yes, there is one more thing. When it comes to rare earth, there are many countries which are helping India to, get the rare earth metal. Yes, lithium as well. Good, Venkata. Question number 32. US President Donald Trump, oh my God, he's here, announced a trade deal with India on Feb 2nd, 2026, where he slashed US tariff on India's goods too. And I'm sure that most of you are aware of this, but still, I have to do this. So 18%, and then there was this Supreme Court decision, and then all the tariffs were slashed to 15% and 10%. Then India was saying, and many things. I'm not getting into that, otherwise it will take my complete class. So the answer is 18%. Let's move further. Let me not discuss this. 33. Identify the correctly matched pair of winners of the 68th Grammy Awards ceremony. And 33, the answer is fifth. Question number 34. Which state emerged as the largest contributor to India's renewable energy capacity, accounting for 16.50%? None other than Gujarat. So Gujarat has emerged the leader in renewable energy. Like earlier, it was like Karnataka and Tamil Nadu used to be the leaders, but Gujarat overtook them, and now it's a leader. Uh, Question number 35th: Who has taken the oath of office as the Deputy CM of Maharashtra, thereby becoming the first woman to hold this position in the history of state? And you must be knowing that there was the sad demise of Mr. Ajit Pawar, and then his wife became the Deputy CM. So the answer is Sunetra Pawar. You should know the name of the party also. The party's name is NCP. She's the senior leader of NCP, Nationalist Congress Party. So her appointment came after just 3 days of the death of Ajit Pawar, whose plane was crashed, and then there were certain theories related to that. But let me not get into the controversial things. Let's move to the question number 30. But yes, she's the first female to become the Deputy CM of Maharashtra. This is important. What is the percentage recommended by 16th Finance Commission as tax devolution to state? So the answer is 41%. We have already discussed Finance Commission in detail, so I'm not getting into the details again. Defense Ministry has approved the grant of Mini Ratna category. So when it comes to public sector companies, there are Ratna status given. So Mini Ratna, Navratna, Maharatna. So the who gives this status? So remember, Ministry of Heavy Industries. So Ministry of Heavy Industries give this status. This is important for you to know. And Ratna status is given to the PSUs. And the more Ratnas you have, I mean, the if you are a Maharatna company, which is status above Mini Ratna, so you would be given autonomy. You can recruit the employees without the permission of the government. You can invest this much of money. You can buy machinery without the permission of government. So you get more autonomy. Nonetheless, so question number 37, the answer is defense. Question number 38, which public sector undertaking has earned the coveted Great Place to Work certification for the period from Feb 26 to Feb 27? And the answer is Steel Authority of India Limited. SAIL. So it's a Maharatna PSU, remember. Question number 39. Who is the winner of Tata Steel Master Tata Steel? I'm sorry, it's repeated. Tata Steel Master 2026 title. And the answer is fourth. Name the Indian squash player who defeated Georgina Kennedy. Question number 40th. The right answer is Anhat Singh. Question number 41. Which Indian origin climate scientist has been awarded the 2026 Crawford Prize Nobel of Geosciences? And the answer is Veerbhadra Ramanathan. Question number 42. The 13th edition of the Joint Military Exercise Khanjar happened between India and Kyrgyzstan. These are the Central Asian countries which used to be the part of USSR. France and Canada have opened consulates in Nuuk, which is the capital of. This is very important question, and those who are following the current affairs must be knowing this. So I'm taking a pause here. Tell me what is the answer. Yes, and the answer is Greenland. I am sure that you people are following this because Donald Trump wanted to acquire Greenland because it is between the North America and Europe. I'll show you the strategic location of Greenland in the map. So it is a sovereign territory which is having the Denmark as its protector. And it's very important because Greenland is also known as world's largest island. So this can also be the question. So it lies in North Atlantic Ocean between North America and Europe. And you can also be asked the major mountain ranges like Watkins or stunning Alps. They can ask you the names of rivers of Greenland like Borglum. So Donald Trump sometimes says is a piece of ice and other things, but this is strategically actually very important for US. So it is a self-government, although it's an autonomous territory under the Kingdom of Denmark. And you know the rest of the story, so I will not discuss this in details. Let's move further. Which regional rural bank has launched its first ever co-branded RuPay card in collaboration with its sponsored bank PNB? And the answer if of this question is Tripura Gramin Bank. So especially if some bank which is located in Northeast, if it does something different, can be asked because Northeast is in news. Earlier it was in news because of Manipur. Then there was this news of Arunachal Pradesh. So it keeps on coming in news. So read about it. The 2026 World Government Summit was convened under the theme Shaping Future Government. So where it was convened, so it was convened in Dubai, UAE. So it happened already. So no risk of Iran attacking the people going there and sitting and discussing the governments. Uh, Jokes apart, let's move further. The fiscal deficit in budget. This is very, very, very important question till the time the next budget would come next year, 2027 in Feb. You have to remember, see, fiscal deficit is what I usually ask when I take the mock interviews for of the students, those who are going for interviews in different banks or RBI. I ask them what is fiscal deficit. So they say, sir, that's a difference between government's income and government's earning. No, that's not. So if you ask me NCRT way, I would say budget deficit plus the borrowing by the government is known as fiscal deficit. So his government is earning less and spending more. That is budgetary deficit. That shows how much government has to borrow. So fiscal deficit is not a difference between government's income and earning. It's the amount government has to borrow. So government can borrow internally and externally. If it borrows internally, it usually borrows from RBI. It can borrow externally from IMF, World Bank. So for your knowledge, the Indian government has more internal borrowing than the external one. And the highest revenue expenditure of the government is interest payment because our government makes the fiscal deficit every year. It borrows from RBI and then it pays the interest. So this is how the things go. So then there are few more deficits. You have primary deficit. You have revenue deficit, you have effective revenue deficit. So since I'm running short of time, there is a video on budget. Just see that video. So I'll show you the graph. You have to remember the data of the deficits. Fiscal deficit data. This I have copied from the budget page. Revenue deficit data, primary deficit, effective revenue deficit. Actually, there is a act made by the law which is known as FRBM. The full form is Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act, which was made in 2003, which says that government's fiscal deficit should not be more than 5%. No, I'm sorry. Should not be more than 3% in its tenure, and the revenue deficit should be zero. Although no government is able to achieve it, but the government says we are trying the fiscal glide. That means gradually we are minimizing the fiscal deficit. Nonetheless, let's move further. Which US state has joined a United Nations health network in the wake of US leaving World Health Organization? So there is a state which is owned by a person who is not agreed with Donald Trump on his issues, and that state is New York. So the answer is New York. I won't discuss this much, uh, but this is about the federalism, whereas state also have power. US, you have the strong state and weak center. India, you have strong center and weak state. Remember this. Anyways, question number 48. Which Indian body has been designed as the Indian Center for the BRICS Center for Industrial Competencies? So the answer is National Productivity Council. BRICS, earlier this actually term was given by Jim O'Neill, who is one of the founders of an investment bank known as, what is the name of that investment bank? Goldman Sachs. So he said that these four economies, Brazil, Russia, India, China, would overtake US, and then gradually South Africa joined, and then other countries joined BRICS. So Ethiopia, Egypt joined, Indonesia joined. So now it's a big uh, group of countries. Plus, India 26 is being organized with a special focus on which sustainability milestone for the first time. 49th, question number 49. The answer is zero waste exhibition model. Question number 50. Bharat Taxi, India's first cooperative-based ride-hailing platform, operates on which unique business model? So, zero commission and surge free. Surge free means while you book the app, the cab via Uber or Ola, it says that there is a peak time, you have to pay more. So there would be zero surge. Nonetheless, so answer of this is fourth. The Devni Mori Buddha relics recently displayed in Colombo were transported from which Indian state? Question number 51, and the answer is Gujarat. Which city will become the second in the world after Las Vegas to operationalize the underground loop transport system? And the answer is Dubai. So whenever right now I'm taking the name of the Middle Eastern countries, I'm a bit afraid, and you know why? Because every day, every 10 minutes, 15 minutes, there is a news. World Cancer Day, observed annually on 4th Feb, will be celebrated with the theme. So the theme of World Cancer Day is United by Unique. Who has been appointed as the MD and CEO of Yes Bank? Yes Bank was in news, founded by Rana Kapoor, and it was a great scam. And today SBI owns the majority shares of Yes Bank. And the answer is Vinay Murlidhar Tonse. Services defeated Kerala in extra time to win the 2025 Santosh Trophy, which is associated with question number 55. So question number 55, the answer is football. Which Indian port has become the first to implement an advanced anti-drone system? So government is taking it very seriously. There is a program known as Sagar Mala to improve the port infrastructure of India. And the answer of 56 is V.O. Chidambaram Port. Which bank has issued India's first fully digital foreign portfolio investor license? And the answer is Kotak Mahindra Bank. FPI we have already discussed, less than 10% equity, if you remember. India signed MOUs and arrangement with 23 countries to share and cooperate on its digital public infrastructure. And the answer is Aadhaar, yes. UPI, yes. DigiLocker, yes. E-marketplace, yes. And the answer is all of the above. So, yes. Question number 59. Under 6,000 crores National Quantum Mission, India's first integrated quantum ecosystem will be established at, and the answer is Bangalore, Karnataka. Question number 60th. Which country's air forces took part in the joint aerial exercise named Buddy Squadron in Feb 2026? And the answer is South Korea and US. To which nation did India announce a $175 million special economic package? Question number 61. And the answer is Seychelles. So India has a policy known as neighborhood first, whereas it helps the neighbors, minus Pakistan, of course. So this is Seychelles. Which country has launched the world's first doctor-led AI healthcare ecosystem named I Live Correct for round-the-clock monitoring? And the answer is yes, we, India. 63. Moody's rating has projected India's GDP to grow at how much? See, this is a typically, this is the only question which I usually say that do not remember this. Because there are many companies, many agencies which has a dedicated economist. He only gets the salary to analyze the GDP of the countries. And whenever they come up with the results, it comes in the newspaper. So sometimes Moody's gives it, sometimes Standard and Poor's gives it, sometimes some other department. If the data is coming from NSO, listen to me carefully, National Statistical Office, then only you need to remember. Otherwise, it's very difficult because your brain's memory is limited. You have to do maths, English, GK and everything. And it's not possible. Moody's ने कितना बताया, S&P ने कितना बताया, फलाने ने कितना बताया. It would be very difficult to remember. So I would say if the data is given by NSO, which comes under the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, then only you remember. Otherwise, there is no point. Nonetheless, I have to give the answer and you have to take the answer. So just for the formality, the answer is 6.6%. Moving further, the RBI has proposed exempting non-banking finance companies with asset size below from registration requirement. So ease of doing business, 64, and the answer is 1000 crores. 65, which refers to RBI guidelines, identify the correct statement. See, RBI circulars and guidelines are going to be specifically asked. So be very careful if such kind of questions are there. So no collateral. Collateral means what you have to give to the bank while you take the loan. So I'm taking the loan, I'm giving my vehicle as collateral. So this is collateral. So 1, 2, and 3. So collateral free loans. That means you don't have to give anything. And MSMEs are the engine of growth. They provide a lot of employment. They are responsible for export. So they get a lot of benefits. They get a lot of support from the different organizations, including RBI. So question number 65, the answer is all of the above. Question number 66. So the youngest male analog astronaut is Aditya Pandya. So At the age of 17, he became India's youngest astronaut. Question number 67. Which country was conferred with Country of the Year honor at BioFetch 2026? And of course, the answer is we, the people of India. Which country topped the 2025 Network Readiness Index? And this is not we, the people of India, I'm sure. That is US. Question number 69. The RBI approved the appointment of R. Vijay Anand as the MD and CEO of, and the answer is City Union Bank. You have to remember, if some Indian bank or foreign bank is appointing some new MD, CEO, some PSB is appointing, you have to remember the names. It's very important. So it comes under the category of, you make a diary, you write persons in news, write down the names. Those are related to finance and banking industry and getting appointment. Question number 70. As of September 25, the gross NPAs, although the NPAs are decreasing, if I was taking this class maybe in 2002 or 3, the NPAs were huge. Like the banks used to ask this question, what is the biggest problem the Indian banks, especially the public sector banks, are facing these days? Sir, these are NPAs. But then government has done many things, especially this Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016. Do you know this? If not, read this very carefully. This is one of the major milestone to correct this problem of NPAs. And the answer is 2.15%, which is very less. So there were many terms related to NPAs, willful defaulter, special mentioned assets, and many other things. Anyways, question number 71. As of the third quarter of FY26, NRIs own dash of the shares of NSE listed companies. So it's 0.62%. 0.62%. Question number 72. Which company has signaled to the publishing industry that it will launch AI content marketplace? 72. And the correct answer is Amazon. You must be knowing that there was this bombarding on the data center of Amazon in Middle East, and it has stopped its operations in that Middle East. Which company has launched Gen WAI, an indigenous low-code AI platform that offers scale and speed? Question number 73. And the correct answer is Deloitte India. Deloitte India. What laws were replaced by the Industrial Relation Code 2020, which the Industrial Relation Code Bill 2026 seeks to clarify for continuity? Very important question can be asked. So, Factories Act 1948, Employees Provident Fund Act, Trade Union Act, Contract Labor Act, Shops and Establishment Acts. So, question number 74, the correct answer is 3. Trade Unions Act 1926. The theme of the 26th International Day of Women and Girls in Science, observed on 11th Feb. Question number 75, and the answer is 4th. India's National Productivity Week 26 will be observed during, although this is already happened, but you should know the answer of question number 76 is 12 to 18th Feb. Question number 77. When India's national song and national anthem are performed together, which of the following guidelines issued by the Union Home Ministry must be observed? And question number 77, correct answer is all 6 stanzas of the official version of Vande Mataram must be rendered first. It was in news, it was a lot of controversy on Vande Mataram, but it has been now cleared by the government. When is the World's Radio Day celebrated and what is the theme of 2026? Question number 78. And the answer is 13th Feb. Radio and Artificial Intelligence. AI is a tool, not a voice. Question number 79. The Northeast region's first emergency lending facility is opened in Assam, where? So the answer is Dibrugarh. And not the least, but the last is under the world's largest grain storage plant in cooperative sector, which district in MP was selected as the pilot district? And the answer is Balaghat. This district was actually Naxalite affected district, but these days MP has become it has um, um, announced itself as a Naxal free state. So students, we are done with all the 80 questions. I hope I was able to explain the things. Please join, like and subscribe us. If you are not the student, at least join our channel. We have given the Telegram channel as well. You can also join the Telegram channel. We provide some important information related to the exams here. So that's it for today. Thank you very much. Have a nice evening ahead. Bye-bye. So these are the links. Thank you so much.